Hello, Froggy here, and today we'll be getting into Queen's Court underneath Spine of Carries. This was first done by DJ XYZ0, and Glitch Tutorial made a video on how to do it as well. So, first thing you're going to want to do is probably kill all the enemies you see along the way, because we're looking for a specific set. While you can do it with the enemies that spawn below the ramp, it is technically possible with the ones to the right. The ones to the left are what we really want. So you'll need to perform a quantum finisher and get the correct offset. This is what it'll look like when you get the right one. If you end up back underneath the starting ramp, then you've got the wrong direction and you'll want to run out and reset and try again. Find you generally need to do 2 crouches, one towards the beginning and one towards the end. And that tends to work out more often than not for me. Exact timing's a bit tricky. Something like a press it around there and then right at the end. So once you're out here, you want to head towards the edge. Ideally, you'll still be walking along something and be able to crouch. And that will end the glitch and allow you to continue on your way. In this case, I didn't quite do that, so I activated my super to avoid dying. Code of the Missile also ends the glitch. So at this point, you want to keep pretty high up and fly over to those rocks that you'll see. That is, in fact, Queen's Court. Towards the end of this, I'll show you some examples of what happens if you mess up around these parts, but for now, we'll just go with the successful run. So once you get around to where I am from where you can see, we enter the second part of our journey. Falling. Because I had to burn my super earlier on, I need to fall at a more controlled rate to get my position right. You don't want to aim for the tall rock there, because that's too close to Queen's Court itself. And you want to get low down so that when you enter into the pulling area that will drag you into Queen's Court, you want to have enough time to get through the turnback area. Upon landing, you'll probably want to celebrate a job well done, and take in the interesting skyline. But of course, that has another purpose as well. It ensures we stand here long enough to set a safe spawn point, because the next part can be a lot trickier than it looks. We need to punch our way through. But not like that. And since we stuck around for a bit, we have a safe spawn point and we can try again. A word of caution. Once you land in Queen's Court, you can no longer use abilities or weapons. So, try not to get caught somewhere where you might want those things. These doors are pretty neat. In a little bit we'll see what's on the other side of them as well. Good old pyramid ships. And we've got the return portal. Wonder if it works. Yep, that works. Luckily, backtracking works as well. And don't see Mara around, so probably won't mind if we take a sit here. I definitely recommend trying this out while we can. It is quite a trip. And if you'd like, you can stick around for some extra exploration and some tips that might help you get here. One interesting thing that I learned here is a bit more on how the pity spawning mechanism works in Destiny. So, I was running circles around the throne room there to set a spawn point. So if I die, I should spawn back up there. And as you can see, I do. Now the pity spawning mechanism doesn't actually care what your Z coordinate is. So if I line myself up with where I spawned, I will respawn somewhere else. On my first time dropping down, I went for the upper part of that platform. It did give me a pretty nice view of the whole Ascendant area and the rest of the map. When I got close, I hit the turn back way too high up. But I did take advantage of the opportunity to explore the underside. Turns out if you walk along this hill, you're able to jump on down. Sadly, I didn't capture that part. But I did see the confluence from the top. I had to investigate further later to realize that's what it was. Once I made it down here, I noticed that you could actually see outside of everything. As you can see the kind of pool thing we were looking at before. And on the right side here, as soon as we go around this corner, you'll see the back side of the door. Of course, it looks about the same on the other side. And this is like under where the pyramid ship projection is. I mentioned earlier that this is possible to do with the enemies to the right of the starting ramp. Most of the time, if you get the right offset, you'll be put into a turn-back timer and or just die on the spot. If you do survive, it's hard to tell that what you got is correct. I did it a few times just to see what would happen and if I could find my way there. And with some difficulty you can, but I would recommend if you don't get the right set of enemies, just go back up top and kill clusters of enemies and come back. More often than not, you'll get the enemies that you want. But if you do end up a little out of the way, and you see rocks like what I'm walking through there, you're probably on the right track. You'll also need to pass through a wall of fog like what you see here. Although this sort of wall extends around the entire perimeter, so it isn't a surefire sign. But as soon as you pass through this wall, you'll see exactly what we saw before. You can tell which offset you got by going into third person and getting the camera caught on a rock. Here, I managed to get the elusive third offset. Flying too low and too close to the center area will get you sucked into the map way too early. And lastly, I would recommend not trying to finish the overs from above. Well, good luck with your efforts and happy exploring.